So I'd love to go a little bit more into detail on that map, but we are restarting into a live game, and Zap, please open this match.
Here we go, final game of the day, final game of the round robin. BUF taking on DiP. Winner going to the playoffs, loser eliminated, tie, rulebook. DiP with the opening attack against the BUF. Gonna be very interesting to see what they do. And interesting to see how BUF can respond after having dropped their previous game to 1 pump.
They are spawning in the middle section. Everyone of the Antalya side is going far right, it looks like. Only one guy...
Yeah, one player, or 2 players, I think. Yeah, 2 players. Basically, 1 player. They were synced up perfectly. Rotating to the opposite side. Very standard split push coming out from DiP. And BUF with a pretty spread out defense. We can see their players are very evenly spread, so pretty standard opening from both teams.
And I like that DiP is actually taking a very steady push mentality, not overcommitting in overly aggressive pushes. And as we can see, Smiley now crawling to the other side of the trench. His teammate, though, is just sprinting forward, but Smiley is able to run forward. If he can kill Nord, he was able to go in and run.
He did find the kill on Nord, but Nord also found the kill on him. So Smiley's push does get shut down. Jackie trying to make some headway on this far left side. He's going to find 1 player. Lands a shot on the Rasputin. I think DiP has successfully made it into the far left.
Oh, that's huge. I'm trying to switch to anyone on the far left side, but...
Ajax currently in this side of the trench. Probably going to hold for the spawns. I'm going to start calling them Subjacks. Not able to land the first shot. Does get taken down. He did get the spawn, so 1 player Smiley in the finger.
Smiley having a very important position. If
you're not going to know he's there. He can find the 1 kill, but he can't get the second on the Manny.
That was a huge kill by Manny.
Tough position to be in. Yeah. If Smiley could have landed that kill, that would have been huge. But for Manny, it's huge his way as he ensures that that side of the trench is clear. With only 30 seconds left on the attack, BUF defense looking pretty good here. But there is a bit of a dangerous push developing on the other side. Crimson, Jackie, and company over. Will make the advance. Crimson does get taken down, however. And with only 15 seconds left, I don't think that DiP's going to be able to get the foothold. Maybe if they can land the opening shot, but there's still a strong crossfire from the finger. Billy, you can see there, he takes 1.
Exabong only gets 1 kill and a 4 kill history right there. Actually, the final dash by DiP, but I feel like it's a little bit too late, and BUF is able to start their attack itself. But DiP did a very aggressive push in the end, so this would actually be a double dash for BUF.
You can see BUF has 4 players pushing very aggressively on the side. But there are spawns coming in for DiP, which is good news, and they take down 3 of them. Take down the 4, so that push does get shut down. But you also see on the opposite end, there's another player who's pushing it. He's going to make contact with 1 player. That player misses a shot, but Jackie does land the second. But he's still got like at least 4 more players coming on his position. Fortunately, he's going to be able to call this out, and the crossfires will come in. Ajax going to get some kills. Can he land the second one? Yes, he can. Takes down Rasputin. So good crossfire from Ajax to shut down that push. Or at least slow it down a little bit.
I like how DiP is defending this trench as well, and it already feels like, for me, how Argon is always played, right? It's a little bit of a stalemate in the no man's land. Both teams struggling to get a foothold, and now it's, especially since the Central Powers are now completely reset again, we're waiting for them to launch a very powerful attack, and I don't know really how Central Powers can change anything in order to successfully get this foothold. I think they need to use their airplane bombs more precise and, well, get a few extra kills that way before they push in. What do you think?
Yeah, I do think the airplane bomb on this map in particular is a great way to get an opening. So I have a bunch of kills there. But yeah, this is a map that's very tough to attack on, so you got to use every resource at your disposal to make it happen. And the airplane bomb, especially on a confined map like Argon, isn't a terrible idea. You know, there's only so many good spots on this map, only so many areas that players like to play, so on a smaller map like Argon, the airplane bomb can be very potent. I mean, it's always potent, but just specifically here, could really help you.
Yeah, and Jackie's on a very powerful position all the way on the far right, and sadly for the Centaur Powers, everyone of Centaur Powers is spawning right there. Jackie racking up the kills right now. As
we see the CP players kind of spawning in an area of the map that's very easy to get shot from. I mean, again, this also just shows you that the difficulty of pushing for this nomads. It's so easy. There's so many angles you can get shot from, and not many good areas to push. So,
shamefully, my scoreboard has broken again, so my spectating mode is working sub-functional. I'm going to restart my Verdun again.
Again, a minor an issue strictly with Trace's computer, as the game has no flaws. But radio casting, DiP was able to defend, and they are going to go back on the attack. Several players above opting to lurk in the no man's land to try to slow down the push, but it does look like they get taken down by Jackie and Axelbud. Jackie making some headway on the far left. Gonna hit a nice shot on the Manny there and continue the push. He's trying, moving wildly to evade the shots. He is able to successfully do it, but does get taken down by Revenant. He spawns several of his players in, though. So nice progress by DiP. And they're also making equally good progress on the far right side. One of their players is able to get in, but he's going to encounter several players of BUF trying to take him down. Is Smiley occupying this position? This is going to be a difficult hold, but if he can stay alive here, that would be huge. He's taken down 2, but does get traded out by Nord. Good, very important kill by Nord to take down Smiley.
The offense of the Antalya is not done yet, though. Exabon and his squad mates, Bonjalis, are currently still in on the right side. As Dope is looking for a nice kill on this Centaur Powers, but he fails to grab it. Bonjalis actually is still in, which could be huge if he kills these kills. Spawning 3 of his squad mates. This could be the beginning of some action on Argon. He needs to be very careful not to die.
We see that DiP's in both ends of the trench right now. Bojangles is alone, however. He misses. He does get taken again. Nord with a huge kill. That's 2 huge kills from Nord on this side of the trench. Nord stepping up again in this match. But still, DiP does occupy this other end of the trench, and the area that DiP now controls here on this far right side for BUF is extremely difficult. It's going to be very difficult for BUF to do anything about it. It is a very strong position, very easy to hold once you're in. So, might see DiP here for a while. Yeah, just to check the scoreboard real quick. We see that Nord and Manny leading the way for BUF. Bojangles actually leading the way for DiP. Bojangles, I must say, Bojangles has had an excellent tournament. Not the player you might have expected with Smiley and Jackie on the team to be the top fragger, but he is routinely been on the top.
He just got a nice cross kill right here from the far left. As BUF is looking to regain control, but they are too aggressive. Rasputin needs to spawn his mates first before attacking, but he doesn't. He gets taken out and his whole squad
Bit of an aggressive push there by BUF, backfires tremendously, and now the spawns will come in from Billy's squad, but again, the other squad isn't in the trench, so it does not matter. The cap does come in for DiP, and they now take the 1-0 lead.
If Rasputin hold a little bit back there, he could have spawned all of his squad mates without any repercussions, and this cap wouldn't have come through. But this could be... this is a very good cap by DiP, actually, as Yum Yum is using a sniper. Interesting choice.
Yes, very interesting choice indeed. I'd say it's interesting like M2H's development philosophy. Interesting choices.
Anyway, DiP is still firmly in control of the left-hand side, but more of the one-pump guys are in far right. So slowly but surely, Central Powers are recapping this trench.
Actually, if we see Crimson's making a push on the opposite end. He's going to be behind the whole team, but he misses a shot on the player he encounters first, and he guts the trade stab. That could have been a huge flank opportunity, but only able to get one player. Fortunate for him that player was rotating to the other side. BUF is pushed up pretty aggressively here. They occupy the far right side, and they have some players on some advanced positions towards the middle. They're going to start to move up. They encounter, looks like Jackie, Ajax. Actually, Jackie's pushing the far right side, kind of going for a similar play to what Crimson just did. Notice the teams. Well, we're seeing a lot more flanking from the Nomads on the defenses today, I would say, than yesterday. We didn't see too much of it today. We see way more utilization of the No Man's Land And here we can see Jackie applying it excellently, getting 2 frags, applying pressure on the other side, making BUF have to think twice about where they position their players and where they look.
How is DiP doing? Still, the situation hasn't changed for DiP at all, and BUF needs to stabilize and recap the right-hand side for them as soon as they can, as their attack phase is nearing to the closure. But the BUF is finally able to get some traction, kill a few people on the right-hand side, and very quickly retaking this trench right now. Huge retake, possibly by BUF. I feel like this is the moment that BUF needs to be a little bit aggressive and prevent the respawn of the Antali right there.
And I mean, BUF almost had the recap, but now they actually get pushed out just like that. Jackie with a great effort. Now, from here on out, I think this is going to be insurmountable for BUF. Once you defend that first line, it becomes extremely difficult to defend the second line. And we can already see DiP, they're already capping this trench. The no man's land is only like 20 meters, so you get pushed out, and all of a sudden, the entire other team is in your trench.
Yeah, we talked about this before. The momentum you gain when you squad wipe anyone is so big, especially when the no man's land is so small as on our gun.
And the cap already comes in for DiP.
There you go. I feel like BUF was able, if they were a little bit more aggressive and that in a few seconds period, in a small window, if they were more aggressive in that window, they would have been able to push out DiP and they would have recaptured the trench instead of losing this one and losing another one on top of that. So a little bit of a tactical error by BUF right there. And already on a 2 trench deficit loss. They need to step up in order to get back into this tournament. The whole tournament is on the line for them.
BUF, they're playing for the tournament life here. They're down 2-0 in a very difficult map to recap the trench in. But since to say this, the recap is coming in. It should come.
Very well played by DiP right here, getting 3 kills from mid and then actually running into the trench with a stab.
He's gonna find another kill. Oh. I think he's, I don't know if he got the kill. Yeah, great effort there by DiP.
DiP still in this push, looking for more blood. As he actually kills 2 more in the middle section. This is a really perfect push by DiP, especially if he can kill these last 2 players. Sadly for him, he gets taken down by Bojangles, but that was an extremely good run by DiP.
That was a really great individual effort there by DiP to help bring his team a little closer to this. Not out of it yet. I mean, even if they, I mean, at the very least, if they can keep this a 2-1 score, I mean, it does help them in the second half. I think a tie is certainly preferable for the CP team, but at least 2-1 makes it just a little bit easier.
DiP's strong suit is actually keeping this foothold alive. We saw that in the first day with Smiley keeping the right-hand side on Vosh constantly, not losing that foothold at all. And I feel like they're doing the same thing at these trenches as well. So BUF needs to be very careful not to, well, lose too many people. That they can get a very big deficit, as is happening right now. DiP having 5 people in the trench, but most of the people of BUF are just getting taken out, and they're looking to lose the trench again. DiP playing very powerful.
Not quite able to hold on to it, so DiP does get the recap.
As Jackie's looking to clear out to far right now, he has to discern a little bit in order to get this no man's land kills as well.
The jump shot, but not able to land, and he gets taken down by Rasputin.
A lot of trade kills in the middle section here. Not sure what Nord is looking at, but the Central Powers are retaking slowly this trench right now. I was expecting a stalemate match in Argonne, especially with, well, I thought 2 evenly matched teams, but this is a lot more action in Argonne than I'm used to. Very nice played by DiP right here.
Yeah, I mean, at first it looked like BUF was going to be able to defend and maybe move this game to a draw, but you see that DiP has really picked things up a little bit since their initial attack and is applying very good pressure. BUF is staying in it though, but every second that's off that clock is certainly not to their advantage.
Especially now Jackie is getting a few kills on the BUF players, just overwhelming them a little bit. There's only 1 minute and 20 seconds left for DiP to retake, for BUF to retake this trench. And really, if they lose this trench, I don't feel like you have a chance in order to withhold yourself from losing your HQ. Our gun is notorious in that regard, and it's on BUF's shoulders right here to clear out, I think, the most stable team in order to keep the footholds alive. DiP is so powerful in those footholds, and it's very, very, very difficult to get them out. Stuff got taken. Sorry, Nord gets taken down by Yum Yum there.
You'll see this cap was dead even for a second, but DiP was able to get some kills and just deny it. Stuck at 99, but they're able to bring it back under control a little bit. Now DiP begins to recap. BUF not able to get that retake, so with only 20 seconds on the clock, BUF now starts to run the risk of possibly getting cleared on a foothold. You see that Jackie's advancing to the far end of the trench, trying to take down Billy.
They're far end left.
Over there.
Luckily, they still have a foothold on the far left side. The Germans do, with Rasputin's squad and Manny on their aggression right now, which is a daring play. Rasputin needs to pull back, which he does to call in his squad mates. Very important defensive retreat.
The push is still coming in. Rasputin gets taken down. Now 3 players in the trench for BUF. They have no one else. The push is coming in from DiP. Bojangles and Jackie looking to end this game, looking to end this half right here.
Smiley actually doing great work on the right-hand side for preventing the right from falling. And there we go.
There is the kill. That's going to do it. Final kill coming in from Axel Bun to close out this game. Or, sorry, not close out the game, but close out this half. 3-1 victory for DiP. BUF. Not looking good for them, I'll put it that way.
They need to do the same thing as DiP did to them in order to equalize it. And then, I believe, if I'm reading the rulebook correctly, it's all coming down to who made the most kills, isn't it?
Yes, it will be. Well, yes, that would be the decision breaker in this case, or the decision maker in this case, but it looks unlikely.
Yeah, BUF is well, in a rough spot to put it that way. They need to step up, kill everyone, and capture the HQ as well. But that's a tremendous task for BUF, and I feel like they're a little bit underperforming in this tournament so far.
Yeah, and I will say that that Manny really stepped up for BUF in that half. Nord and Manny had great games, but yeah, unfortunately, again, just doesn't seem like the fragging power is quite there for BUF right now. They just seem to be getting overwhelmed by the skill on the other teams. We saw Bojangles, Jackie, Smiley, Axelbun all have really solid games, and Crimson also had a pretty decent game, so there we go.
It's painful to see, actually. It's I don't think necessarily BUF is doing a lot wrong. I think they're falling apart because of the firm grip that DiP has on the foothold. You just, that team, you just can't get them out, it feels like. And well, especially in a place like Argonne, DiP comes to that power of DiP just amplifies a little bit. Especially after you take the first trench. So they had a very hard task in the first place when they lost that trench, but I hope they can step it up right now in the second half.
Yeah, I mean, I think it would have been a little more interesting to maybe see BUF start on the Entente side. I mean, they are going to Entente, so again, they're not out of it yet. Even as crazy as it seems, they are still not out of it. But yeah, the odds are definitely stacked against them. It is now most certainly really do or die for BUF. They have the opening attack against DiP in the second half of our last game of the round robin. Again, you see a similar approach to their aim map, where they are just sending everyone to one side, pushing very aggressively, not committing anybody to the other flank. They just send everyone to one side. and DiP is just tearing it apart.
Yeah, Jackie and his squad mates are on the far right. They're trying to pick him apart from afar, and actually quite successful in that as well. Every kill is going the way because of both junglers towards DiP, and that first initial push, the momentum of the Antari has been taken care of by DiP right now. Jackie does spot a few players on the right-hand side near the tank. He gets taken down by Manny right there. A very important kill. This could be the opening for the right-hand side there.
Smiley and several other players do spot the push coming in. If they can deal with it.
Smiley has actually killed Rasputin and JS 1031 there.
Good kills by Smiley and a nice kill in the finger to deny the push by, I believe that was Nord trying to push in. So yeah, BUF not really making any ground so far.
Well, it was a similar approach for DiP when they were attacking.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's important to remember that DiP didn't. Yeah, DiP
they are in the left side right now. They are in the left side, and there's only one guy defending that. That is Crimson Function. And this could be. This is the chance of DiP BUF to get in, but they get taken apart from afar by Crimson, Axabon, and Jackie. The whole team stepping up, defending that left side.
The tough thing about that finger position on the left side is, you know, it's a good way. It's a good point to get in, but conversely, it's also very exposed. So even if you get into it, it's very easy for you to get shot. There's so many angles on that finger, but we see just a mass push. Everyone from BUF committing to this left side. Good kills from Jackie and Smiley to reduce the numbers, but Revenant gets a big kill in the Jackie, and that's going to secure at least temporarily a foothold as DiP begins the rotations over. But BUF has enough space and enough time to get some spawns, so at least for now they have some decent positions in this trench.
Let's see if BUF can do the same thing as DiP always does, keeping that foothold. Rasputin actually getting two nice kills on BUF players there, DiP players, and slowing down the advance in the middle section here.
And DiP does have to be careful here. They have players on the outside of the trench, and they're getting capped right now. They might want to reconsider, like Jackie as an example, might want to reconsider playing on the outside.
Instantly ran back in, and now it's equal. So the cap timer is equal.
Jackie's going for the flank, but he doesn't have any ammo, and JS 1031 with an important kill on the Jackie. DiP does begin to recap a little bit, but still.
This is very close for both teams, but DiP with Spawner's advantage, able to secure this trench further and further, and it feels like the threat of that push is diminishing by every second. They fully retake the trench as they're looking for other ways to approach this, but it feels like BUF is falling apart, not being able to keep the players into that far section.
BUF is now only in the finger position. This is a very exposed spot. They're going to try to push out of it, knowing the peril of being there. But still, they've only got a few players in the trench, and DiP is coming. They are right on top of them. Only two players in the finger now for BUF, and the DiP push is coming, and that's going to do it. Axelbun's going to clean it up with 2 kills there, and he's going to put DiP now on the attack. First time we've seen the Central Powers actually attack the top line this match, so that should be interesting.
We did saw Jackie defending in the previous half, I believe.
Oh yeah, we did see one attack. My bad. Sorry.
Haha.
Yeah, we did see because the DiP attack failed. But already DiP is in. Already kind of making more progress than the BUF did on their attack in the first half.
Instantly in, exactly. As my scoreboard is still malfunctioning.
Crimson taking some nice kills on the right side. Doesn't really. And weird thing is, BUF's not really paying attention to this. That's a bit of an error by them, as they just allow Crimson to shoot them. It's actually in the back, out of their spawn position. This might even be this could be a cap for DiP. Only one player in the trench, and it's JS 1031. He does get the kill on the Crimson. That's very important, but I don't know if it's going to be enough. Maybe if Nord can get in.
Jackie was able to spawn his teammates, and he's going to spawn his teammates again.
Just a sliver of the cap just in time. Smiley's getting some kills.
Two spawns are coming in for Jackie in just a few seconds, and that's going to be enough to take this trench right now. And there we go, 7 people in, secures the trench for the Germans right now. And you can instantly see that DiP is taking a more aggressive push towards in this trench.
There's some great kills by Smiley and Crimson there on that attack to take that trench. So yeah, with DiP being up 1-0, BUF having to win clean out, I don't think they're going to be able to do it. Must say, it looks very, very bad right now for BUF. Looking actually really good right now for DiP. I mean, this is a very difficult map to win on a CP, but having a really good attack so far.
We are seeing the Antalya having a slight majority in the trench right now. And we're retaking the trench, but JS gets taken out, which takes out a month of that recap. But we shouldn't count out BUF from defending this trench just yet. President looking to kill Exabon and Smiley right there. Smiley trades off Exabon.
And the recap should come in. Oh, it spawns to come in just in time for DiP, but still the cap is slowly creeping forward.
Back and forth. This is
very
absolutely
tight right
close. It's going to come down. If Ajax doesn't push, if he needs to spawn his people. He was able to spawn Jackie, but I don't think it's enough to prevent the recap. And there you go. A lot of players being the aggressor when they should fall back and spawn their teammates before instead. And that's how they lost this trench right now, as they are still in the left, but only the last player in the far left right now for the Central Powers facing against North, and Yum Yum gets killed by that. So Central Power is completely wiped. They are heavily pushing on the far left side for the Antani side now, and it looks like they can run in there. Rotations coming in for DiP. BUF as well to the middle part. This is so close. DiP needs to get into the trench in 1 minute 50. Everyone is taking a little bit of a breather right now in order to spawn all their people, and now we can see a big aggression. So all the kills, we need to keep an eye on the kill board right now. DiP, 2 kills in advance. 3 kills.
A nice kill on the Nord there.
Most of the kills actually going in favor of DiP, and that makes it easier for them to get a foothold into this trench. Smiley actually in the middle position from No Man's Land, trying to get as many kills and distract all the people, preventing them from rotating, and making it possible for his teammates to get into the middle section of this trench. Nice trades in the middle section by Crimson, 2 quick kills. Makes it so that they firmly secure themselves again in the trench and starting to recap this.
Yeah, and BUF is getting capped by DiP, but BUF is going to need to stabilize very quickly here. I mean, they still have enough time to bring this match back, but yeah, they really got to find a way to stop this cap. I mean, they need their spawns now. If they can get their spawns, I don't know. They do.
Oh, this is so close.
That's a huge kill. Dope's going to make a push in the middle. Very exposed right now. Maybe not the questionable play, but does get taken down nonetheless. BUF is playing very aggressively right now. They want to clear DiP out. They don't want to give him a chance, it seems.
Oh, and they are right, because they just reset one of the squads, and they are only looking for 4 people of DiP, but I feel like too many kills are going in favor of DiP right now, losing the advantage they had.
And he does bring it back a little bit, but yeah, the kill is not as good as you'd like to see them. Not favorable enough for BUF, but now starting to become... And there we go. Rasputin with the flank stab. Revan and Manny both stepping up as well, so there we go. And those quick kills, this might be a huge opportunity for BUF, because we can see that there really isn't anybody in the trench right now for DiP. So BUF has a great chance to push quickly without much resistance. DiP spawns are coming in now.
Yum Yum is still deserting, and he's taking most of the power out of this attack. If he can kill more people, he needs to hit his shots right now. It's very important, because they don't know he's still deserting.
For some reason, BUF has not seemed to deal with the fact that this player is deserting here. He's going to walk into essentially their whole team.
He misses the shot. Oh, Yum Yum actually choking a little bit there.
But interestingly enough, it didn't matter because BUF's already gotten the cap.
Oh, wow.
Exactly, that's what I was saying could have happened. Because all their players died in quick succession on that attack, they had no one in the trench to defend it, and now BUF finds themselves in the position leading this game for the first time. Nord and Nord have good positions on the spawn on the right side. Dope going to get a couple of kills. Does finally get taken down by a player, Ajax, in the far left side.
DiP is able to secure the right-hand side right now from the Azadi, as Rasputin is flanking around, trying to spawn in his mates in order to pressure against this attack. But he gets spotted by Crimson Function, and he kills him, spotting a few players of Azadi in the no man's land. This is very close positional play right now, but it looks like the Central Powers are winning, as there's only one person of the Azadi in the trench right now, recapping the trench. Very good plays by Crimson there, and a few of his squad mates to retake this right-hand side and preventing the spawn into the trench. That was the most important part. It looks like DiP is BUF is killing the whole right-hand side right now, trying to spawn in their squad mates on this side. DiP is not aggressing. That's interesting. As they now can see that a lot of people are finally running into the trench.
Yeah, BUF is heavily committing to this. They really like to commit to this finger side, this left side for DiP. They have had limited success here, and they are going to get some players in, or maybe they won't. Yeah, one player does make it in, but again, we see every time this happens, Rasputin pushing towards the middle very aggressively, trying to lead the way for his team.
I feel like he should be backing up a little bit now, as he was almost the last guy alive.
Definitely over-aggressed there, and we can see there's only one player left for BUF on this side, and he's got to spawn his teammates, but obviously the other squad is now forced to go all the way in the back. And I really don't like this play at all by BUF, I must be honest. I don't like the decision here at all to routinely push this finger position. It's so exposed, and we can see just how easily DiP is able to pick them off when they do this.
You can literally see the whole team of DiP watching this single position, and it makes it so easy, especially from the crossfire, to kill all these people trying to get in. I believe that trench where they're trying to get in the finger is actually the highest part of the whole trench. So it's virtually impossible to get in there, as everyone got taken down except one.
I do understand the urgency of BUF here in this match, but still, I would have liked to have seen a little more of maybe a sub push, or at least an attempt to go on the other side. We finally see that kind of start to happen with a couple players, one squad now going to the opposite end for BUF, but there's only 25 seconds left. They have so little time to work with here now that it's going to be very difficult for them to make anything happen, nor trying, but taken down by Bojangles.
Really actually having a very good position on the far left side, trying to spawn in two of his mates, and when that happens, you can expect him to dash forward. Spawns are getting in right now. Nord, Dope, and Billy need to kill a few people in order to get in, but they get completely taken out by Exabon right there. And that's what they how they lose this trench and the momentum they had recapping this trench. So now the pressure is on the German side again to retake the trench, and I believe there's almost nobody in on the right side as well, as we can see DiP actually dashing forward already into the right side of the attacking trench. Exabon instantly taking a little bit more of a defensive position in case all of their if squad mates die, and he's actually able to kill Nord here. Very important. And now he's just going to wait until Bojangles and Jam are going to spawn back.
BUF down to one player, so yeah, this should be, again, much like Modane, this will be the last nail in the coffin, except this time it's for the entire tournament. The cap gonna come in for DiP, and that's gonna do it.
A huge push on the right-hand side, though. Exabon, the only guy actually seeing this, needs to kill Nord. Nord kills him. A lot is happening right now. As BUF is retaking the right side of this trench, and they're going to fight heavily over this middle section.
Smiley trying to miss his first shot, but does get the second shot on the Revenant. Smiley, good defense here in the middle for Smiley. And BUF does have a squad on this other side. It is still technically possible, I think, for BUF to come back in this, but obviously it's... I think we can probably agree that's probably not going to happen.
Smiley just looking too strong, defending this middle section, actually retaking the whole right-hand side.
And it's kind of like this four-headed beast for DiP. We got, you know, we have Smiley, Bojangles, Jackie, and Crimson. All four of these players always performing. So, yeah, and we actually see Bojangles going in a very aggressive push here. I'm not going to find anyone, though.
Again, my scoreboard is malfunctioning on Argon. I'm not sure what's happening here.
But yeah, I'll give a quick rundown of the scores. We have Bojangles at 35, Yam Yam at 5 and 22, Smiley 41-17, Axelbun 18-19, Jackie 30-14, Ajax 14-24, Crimson Function at 31-16, and for BUF we're at 14-31, Revenant 14-25, JS 31-11-23, Manny at 31-24, Nord at 24-26, Dopa 25-27, and finally Billy at 12-20. So again, really the standout players right now are definitely kind of Smiley and Bojangles, and to a little bit of a lesser degree, Jackie, Crimson, and obviously Manny is now leading his team. Nord's kind of dropped off a little bit.
During all that, BUF almost recaptured this trench, but just at the 99.9% percentile, they get taken out a little bit, and all the headway they had gets taken out again. Sorry, gets taken out again by North right here.
7 players are in the trench for BUF. They're gonna make a bit of push towards the middle, but Dope taken down by Axelbun.
JS actually getting a few nice kills right here as he's sneaking forward. He needs to kill the guy on his right side though, but he gets taken down by Yam Yam.
You can see Jackie trying to go for a little bit of a flank here in the no man's. Spots out one player. Someone else killed him.
Rasputin actually preventing Yam Yam to take a firm foothold in the right-hand side. Important kill right there. He gets taken out by
There is only no
Ajax.
No time on the clock, so now BUF is on foothold. They only got a couple guys in this small little part of it, or they actually have guys on both sides of the trench, so that's very good for them.
Yeah, but it must be very comfortable in this position as they virtually already were on, right? Even if they lose the trench right now, it's not possible for them to lose anymore. So we're basically fighting, DiP and BUF are basically fighting for this half, and I believe BUF wants to get at least one half in there, as we haven't seen them win any.
BUF's now starting the fast cap. They should get the cap here. Looks like they've pretty much wiped DiP. Not completely, but well, now completely.
Okay, so now
DiP does spawn all their players on this one side. BUF not able to kill too many of them, so they get a decent number of players in.
Rasputin on a nice flank. He could do a lot of damage if nobody of the German side is actually watching this. He kills Bojangles. Very important kill. Misses his shot on Ajax.
Bojangles wasn't aware of his position, but just by chance, Bojangles able to at least alert his team, even if he didn't kill him, which was enough to deny more flank kills for Rasputin. So a bit of a tough break for him.
No, a big flank, or at least a lot of people of DiP are currently in the trench, capping this trench again really quickly. 4-3 score for DiP.
And if there was any doubt to the outcome, that 100% has sealed the game.
Yes.
DiP will advance and BUF will be eliminated, but maybe BUF can still try to walk away with a win this half and at least come with their heads held high.
Smiley actually being very aggressive. They're running on top of the trench right now, trying to prevent everyone from spawning in, and he successfully kills Revenant right now.
For good kill. Northern and another teammate, however, are pushing into the opposite end. Not really anything there for DiP, so they are able to get free passage. Bojangles, though, is going to answer with a kill, at least to reduce the numbers just a little bit. To find another one.
Everyone of BUF is already getting taken out. All the scoreboard is for DiP right now. Smiley is still defending the right-hand side. 3 people spawn in there, but he is just too powerful. Kills together with his squad mate. 2 out of 3 of the opposing players. He does get taken down by Bojangles, right? The Revenant, and Revenant actually kills both players right there. So this could be the beginning of the recap by Jansali, as Manny and Bojangles are firmly secured in here, waiting to spawn both Rasputin and JS on the far right side. Left side, depending on what team.
And BUF is going to get another recap, so tied up for a piece. Maybe they'll be able to successfully defend and move on to the attack again, but I have a feeling DiP not going to be very inclined to let them do that. Both teams still, even though the game is already decided, both teams are still playing very hard, so it's worth noting. DiP's already won, and BUF's already lost, but again, both teams still showing a lot of heart by playing to the bitter end. At least BUF is.
I would love to see actually the BUF retaking this trench, successfully defending this trench, clearing the footholds as fast as it can, and still getting a 5-4 lead. I know this is hopeful, but it's technically still possible for them to do it. Not if they are going to lose the trench.
It does look like DiP is gonna get the cap here. I don't think there's anything BUF can do to stop it. There is not. So DiP will secure another cap. So with only 4 minutes left of the game, it's pretty unlikely that BUF will be able to win this half.
Especially now Crimson is clearing out half of the enemy team in this trench. And no, I think this game has been played by DiP very impressively already. But let's see how far they can extend their lead.
Yeah, no, definitely. Bojangles and Smiley having really, again, Bojangles, Smiley, and Jackie and Crimson all just having fantastic games, leading the way for this DiP team. They have been, these 4 players have been the backbone of this DiP roster, so it's a very powerful quad of players right there. And seeing Dope and Manny step a little bit for BUF, but again, it's just not enough, unfortunately.
Well, again, what I like to see is that Smiley, what DiP does really, really well is know when to aggress. Smiley didn't push right now, spawned in all of his teammates, and that's how they are firmly retaking this whole trench again. They're not capping it, but and that's, I think, what BUF was missing. They didn't have the foothold control, let's call it like that, as DiP is having right now. And I think that's the deciding factor for DiP to win the CP side of this match.
I think we've also seen some errors in the BUF pushes. I mean, I kind of I saw it in the other game as well on A, and BUF really likes to commit all their players to one side, and I'm not certain if that's the best approach. It can work at times, but I think doing it all the time as they seem to be doing is maybe a little bit questionable, and perhaps why, to a degree, they are losing these games. Not maybe the best, maybe not the best pushes coming out from BUF, but nevertheless, 2 minutes on the clock. They're going to fight to keep this, at least this half, at a draw.
You can see it again. Smiley knows that all of his squad mates are dead, and he is taking very defensive corners and actually lying down, proning until his squad mates are in, and then he starts speaking. This is how you should do it. And I think Smiley is one of the best guys that can do this. I think he is so powerful in keeping an eye on that bottom left-hand side to know when he should aggress and when not. And you need more people like that in your team if you're BUF. I feel like.
Yeah, I think BUF has just suffered from issues of over-aggression and maybe not the most efficient pushes.
They did retake
They
this
do
trench.
at least to recap the trench, so with 1 minute left on the clock, they will have an opportunity to keep this half at a tie as they play their final minute in this tournament.
I'm not sure where the central powers are in right now, but in the middle section, of course. And it's going to be very important for DiP. The kills need to be equal. So for every kill DiP makes, BUF needs to kill 1 as well. As they're slowly but surely losing their trench. These last 2 kills by Manny were very important in order to stabilize this trench. But he needs a few more. This could be a very big airplane bomb. Doesn't watch out. That's an airplane bomb on Smiley, which is decent. So far, BUF is looking like they will be able to hold this one for 30 seconds more. Everyone is taking defensive positions. They are not looking to over-aggress anything. That's saying I saw somebody run forward. If they just hold the positions right now and not do anything crazy, they will be able to tie it, and at least that's half a point for their roster. Nord being extremely aggressive there in order to reset the whole squad. Smart play there.
This one is going to end on a tie between, or at least this half is going to end on a tie between DiP and BUF. DiP will take the match, but still a lot of respect deserved for BUF. This team, they knew they were pretty much out of this tournament for the last 10 minutes, but they showed a lot of heart and they showed a lot of determination to play to the bitter end and not just give up. So again, a lot of respect deserved for BUF, and obviously for DiP, that's great for them. They pick up this win, which will ensure they move to the playoffs. So we have our 4 teams moving on. And again, Bojangles, Crimson, Smiling, and Bojangles all just having incredible games, all in the 50 kill range, right beside each other. So great stuff from them, and congrats to them. And again, just a round of applause deserved for BUF, the way they played. Just clap.
For me, the whole scoreboard was bugging out. Everyone had 0 kills on my perspective, so it was a very boring game for me. No, seriously, I'd love to see that the screenshot of the scoreboard in the end. And DiP very convincingly taking the HQ at first underground and tying on the second half. Very well done by DiP, performing better than I expected against BUF.